Okay, so we are going to create our name in hieroglyphics. So we're going to look at the alphabet, and we're going to get a very small sheet of white paper, such as this one, and we will create our name on this. This small sheet of paper, we should do this with a pencil, so you can erase it if you make a mistake. Now, when you're writing your name, you do want to make sure you have enough space for every letter. So if you have a long name, you really want to think about that. So I'm writing sour. So what I would not want to do is start with my first letter and make it super big. So this is an S. This is an A. And then if you look, I hardly have any room. This is just S and A, and I need a U, an E, and an R. And I can't fit it all if I do that. So you really want to make sure you keep them small enough that you'll be able to fit every letter on this small sheet of paper. You can use the back if you mess up. And try to keep them in the center as much as you can. You don't want them going off the edges of your paper. So you kind of have to plan it out before you begin. And if you need to do that on a dry erase board, or if you just want to practice drawing light till you get it right on your paper, that's fine. So here's mine all complete, S-A-U-E-R, and I just looked at the alphabet on the board to help me with that. And now what you're going to do, once you have your name written, is you're going to take a piece of tooling foil, and it should be the same size as your paper, so you want to lay your paper right on top of it. But if you notice there's some edges here, I want you to cut off those edges for me. So we have a nice rounded shape. So it's more oblong rather than a rectangle. So I'm just going to gently cut these off. You must be careful with this tooling foil. It can cut your fingers, kind of like a paper cut. So be very careful. And immediately throw this stuff in the trash so nobody gets hurt by it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep the paper on top of the tooling foil, and I'm going to put it on something kind of soft. So I'm just going to take some paper. And I'm taking this thing, this is called a wooden stylus. And this is going to put grooves into our tooling foil. So we'll be able to feel a type of texture there. And we will create our shapes with this. Okay, so I lay it all together. I have my foil on the back. And I'm just going to trace over what I've drawn on my white sheet of paper. And I'm pressing pretty hard. I'm not like pressing so hard that it hurts my hand, but hard enough, because the goal is you want these to be seen on the foil underneath. So go slow. Okay, so now I've taken my paper off, and what you see, this is called a sunken relief. I have pressed into the foil. I've sunken my lines down into it. You should be able to feel a little bit of the lines that have been sunken in. And now I'm just going to go back with my wooden stylus, and I'm going to press a little harder into these letters, these hieroglyphic letters. And that's just to make the shapes appear a little more solid. Okay, so now that I have my shapes pressed down even more, I definitely can feel a lot more of the texture. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a black Sharpie, and I'm using the skinny Sharpies because I like how tiny the tip is. And I'm going to give this a little bit of flair. So I'm just going to make these lines kind of appear even more so. And if you even want to color in parts of it, you can, but I'm going to use a bigger Sharpie to color it in. So now that I've outlined some of this with black, I'm going to add a little bit more black around the border. I'm going to kind of create a frame. And I'm just going to make it like little dotted line around the edge, just to finish it off, because I feel it needs a little more to it. Now I'm just going back, making sure I like everything I've created. I'm making some of my lines a bit heavier because I felt I couldn't see them that well, and I wanted to make them just a little darker. Okay, so once that's complete, we need to glue this to a sheet of heavy paper. Same rules will apply, so I'm going to put my foil onto this sheet of heavy paper, and I'm just going to trim off those sharp corners. I want them to be soft. I want them to be the exact same shape as my name. Alright, and then you just want to take some glue, twist it open, and I'm going to put glue onto my thick sheet of paper. I'm going to put a frame, and then I'm going to do a wavy line in the middle, and then I will lay this right on top. You don't want to see the paper at all, so you might have to kind of scooch it from side to side. And then I'm just going to let it sit there until it wants to stick. Okay, so now that it is glued on there, nice and tight, I punched a hole into the top of it with a hole puncher. And now I'm going to take ribbon, and you're going to have either ribbon or yarn or something to that effect. To create the necklace out of. So it should be tied for you on one end already when you get it. Okay, so here's the knot. What you have to do is you have to hold the knot and then go down to the other side, put your finger right through it like this. This is the side we want to use. So you take that, form it into a loop, and you're going to hold that loop tight. You're going to flip your necklace over, and you're going to put the ribbon or yarn through the back of it. And then you see, I went through the back, now I have a loop on the front. Hold that loop tight, and then take your knot, and you want to push that up over the necklace, down through the loop. And then it should be able to be pulled tight, not too tight that you tear your necklace. But now you've created wearable art. You can wear this around your neck. Okay, so this is our hieroglyphic cartouche necklace.